Good morning. Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Now, have you ever felt, just really all our healthcare providers out there, have you ever felt like you are just struggling from day to day, having a hard time working those 12-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, whatever shifts that you're working, and not really being able to come home and have the energy to take care of the children or whatever you have to do, whether it be taking care of the children or cleaning the house or, attending to whatever you need to attend to? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, where our goal is to equip healthcare providers to be spiritually and physically fit, financially stable, and able to lead with integrity, to decrease error at the bedside, and in leadership, to lead a full, empowered life. Our goal is to come to you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:30 a.m. We won't be here this particular Friday and next Monday because of vacation, because my mama says that, nobody works all the time but a maggot and a fool. But we will give you fuel to crush your goals, to show up exceptionally on a daily basis. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, before we get to our special guest, I wanted to let you know about our virtual global summit coming up on August the 7th, 2020. You will receive 6.5 contact hours and you will have an amazing time. So go to www.vpnursing.com to register for this epic event. Now, we have a special guest today. Her name is Denise Dunn. She is a registered dietitian to talk to us about health and how to eat. Now, Ms. Dunn earned her bachelor's degree in food and nutrition at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro before completing her master's degree in food and nutritional service at North Carolina A&T State. After her successful dietetic internship at Utah State University, Ms. Dunn passed her certification exam, becoming a registered licensed dietitian. And just to let you know, those certifications exams are a beast. And has applied her certification working in child nutrition, public health, long-term care, and food service management. Currently, she works with bariatric patients before and after surgery to ensure that they receive the educational support they need to commit to a healthy lifestyle. So I'm super excited.
Yes, super excited.
So now, I wanted to ask you a question. The first question I wanted to ask you is, what made you become a dietitian, a registered dietitian? What was the primary reasoning?
I took my first nutrition class and I was so, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted to do. When I took that class, to really learn that everything that we have on the end of our fork can make a tremendous difference in what our health looks like 10, 20, 30 years down the line. I was like, I want to know more about this, and I want to be able to help people everywhere to make sure that they are making these decisions. It always doesn't have to come through the medicine cabinet.
That's right. That's right. And it's huge and important. It was so funny because the other day I was having this conversation with a family member, and they had, she said to me, it was a patient who had congestive heart failure. And I said to her, she said, well, my mom eats, chicken noodle soup all the time. And I said, well, it's high in sodium. I said, but I've got some here, so let me just take a look at it. And I was fairly surprised. So congestive heart failure patients should have between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day, right?
Right.
This particular can had 2.5.
I was going to say.
And it had like over 2,000 milligrams.
I was going to say, because one serving put her at over half of what she should have had all day long.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so.
But we love the chicken noodle soup. We believe it heals all wounds. It's marketing. That's the one thing about food that has put people really in this place now where we get so much information, and the marketing for everything is wonderful. And you sit home and you're like, that's it. I need that chicken noodle soup. And actually, you don't. Let's make some of yourself if you really want that.
Exactly. Now, what is the one thing that you found to be the most surprising as it relates to food and health?
That people don't know the true purpose of food.
So what's the true purpose?
The true purpose of food is to nourish our bodies. But we are living in a time, if you stop and think, food is everywhere. Food is at your celebration for happy. Food is at your point of sad. Hello.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
Hello.
You flipped out
I
for a minute.
apologize. I apologize. Yeah, it came through my phone. But yeah, when you stop and think about, food is everywhere. Food is at the repast. Unfortunately, food is at the graduation. Food is at the wedding. I mean, I've heard people say, "How was the bride? How was the food at the reception?" Those are the questions that people want to know. So we're living in a time where food is everywhere, and we don't necessarily eat to say that this is going to nourish our body. We eat for happy, we eat for sad, we eat for boredom, we eat for entertainment. And a lot of times that's how you look up and there is an extra 1,500 calories that you didn't really need, but there you are. And
Yes,
especially when it comes to beverages.
the one of the it is one of my friends that I used to hang out with. She was a bariatric patient actually, and
Mm-hmm.
she said it's really hard for her because food is everywhere. She
Mm-hmm.
said every time we do anything, it's around the table. She
Mm-hmm.
said, and so she struggled with trying to keep the weight off because she was constantly being introduced to food or constantly in those settings. So that's really interesting. So in comparing food and exercise, which would you say is the most important in relation to health?
My best example I can give for that is say, it's like you being the wife and your husband. Both of you have a special role in your house. So you work well, you work well individually, but together you guys are a powerhouse. So
Ah,
I tell people don't separate. Don't
ah,
separate. I mean, think about it. Dr. V, you bring a great amount of knowledge to your household, and your
right.
husband brings a great amount of knowledge. But together,
Oh,
you guys are really, and that's how you have to think about that diet and exercise. It's just like follow your meal plan. Follow your meal plan. But if you decide that, oh, I'm gonna throw my husband in the trash today, you will say, I did well with my meal plan, but I out ate my exercise. Or I went to the gym today, but the only thing I ate today was a Big Mac.
uh,
So sometimes people are very, very, they excel in one area and they fall down in another area.
gotcha.
So I would say don't separate the two.
I love it. I love it.
Think about it as a strong power couple.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you believe in intermittent fasting? Why or why not?
I believe that intermittent fasting, the keto diet, the sugar busters, the South Beach, I can name them all. The special drink, the cream that you can rub on yourself. I believe all of that stuff works. But it's just like our New Year's resolution. It's July. Ask me how many people still are working on their New Year's resolution.
That's right.
All of it works. The problem is we're not consistent with anything.
That's true. That's
So
true.
all of it works. I'm not that dietitian that's gonna tell you, oh, that doesn't work. Don't do that. All of it does, but we stop doing it at about Valentine's Day. We're usually done.
Yeah.
So my recommendation to people is to find that true balance. And I know a lot of times people hear the term balance and they was like, what does that mean? And I always tell people, think about your 10-inch plate. Divide that 10-inch plate in four.
Uh-huh.
Okay, two halves of that plate are going to be your non-starchy vegetables. And
Uh-huh.
when I say non-starchy vegetable, I mean your collards, your cabbage, your green beans, your cauliflower, your broccoli, your kale. Two of those sections are going to be that. And
Uh-huh.
then we got two sections left. One section is going to be your lean protein. And that last section is where we're going to put our whole grains. But if you really stop and visualize that plate, that's not how we eat.
That's right.
We want the largest section to be a piece of meat 9 times out of 10.
That's right.
And then those other two sections, we're going to make that be starch.
I know.
So, and I'm not the sugar police, but I am aware of when I'm putting in my body and when I'm not. So
Okay.
that's the thing. We have not found that true balance. And we haven't found something that we can do in January and continue doing it in December. And that's where you see long-term weight loss that stays with you. Because these cute things that I'm gonna drink this today, or I'm gonna sprinkle this on my food today, or I'm gonna intermittent fast today. Like I said, call me in March and let me know how much of that you're still doing, because we're not consistent with any of it. It sounds good though.
It does.
It does. It sounds good. And then you can go in the grocery store and it'll say the South Beach product. We like all that. Or it'll say it's the keto product. We like to be able to grab it to say that we're in a part of the group, but we're just not consistent. And we have to learn that what you start with in January, finish it and
Right.
stick with it and continue to move. And that's where you will see that slow, steady progress. But unfortunately, sometimes we forget that you've struggled with your weight for 3 years,
Right.
or you struggled with your weight for 10 years. But we want miracle weight loss and to spin around like we used to do when Wonder Woman, she would have her lasso and spin around. And in 5 minutes, I lost 50 pounds. And if somebody promises us that, that's the line we want to go jump in. But
That's
sweetheart, that's not realistic.
no, it's not. And Stephen Furtick said that the consistency separates. It's one of his songs. Consistency separates
Mhm.
one hit wonders from all time greats, and that's the truth. I mean, because
Mhm.
it makes the difference in how you go, and it's a struggle. I mean,
It is.
because after Christmas, then comes the Girl
Mhm.
Scout cookies, and then comes
Mhm.
you know um, Valentine's Day, and then
Mhm.
Mother's Day, and then comes Father's Day. I mean, it's just on and on and on, and so it is truly, truly a struggle. Now,
But I tell people keep the holidays down to the day,
mm,
not
that
the holidays. You don't holiday from Thanksgiving to Christmas. You holiday on
one
Thanksgiving. You holiday on Christmas. Because if not, you will find 15 pounds in that 30 days.
girl, yeah, I don't found them.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
hear you. I hear you. Now, do you think that people? I guess we just answer that question. Do you think people should follow a certain diet? Now, what do you think about the vegetarian diet?
I
And
think those are excellent again, if
it's
you're going to start slow. I 100% agree with the last guest that you had, and she was talking about how people, start off on a Wednesday, saying that you're going to do a meatless Wednesday or go meatless for your lunch. You've got to start that slowly, because sometimes people, again, it's January, it is my New Year's resolution, I am going to stop eating meat. Unless you're one of those people who are going to be very, very good at your meal preparation to say that you're going to 100% carve out meat, you have to make sure that you plan for that. And then you have to realize potato chips are plant based, apple juice is plant based.
that's
Just because it doesn't come from an animal, you still have to make sure that you're making good choices.
right. That's
So it's still, you have to be consistent with that. But so that's why I tell people, when you're going to do that, that is excellent, because the more non-starchy vegetables you eat, those are your disease fighters. So I 100% recommend, if that's what you want to do, but I say go slow and understand that you're going to have to be a planner.
and especially in this time of COVID, because we want to be a lot
Mm-hmm.
healthier, and especially as healthcare providers, because we're coming to the bedside and taking care of the patient, right? You want to be
Yes,
sure as healthy as you can be in order to
as possible.
able to take care of the patient, which is the premise behind the company altogether. Now, what are some simple ways that you can improve your nutrition today?
I always tell people, meal prep. Start to turn your brain on again when it comes to food. We're living in a time where we mindlessly eat. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop, because you'll do simple things like you'll pull through McDonald's and you'll pick up that large sweet tea that has 59 grams of sugar in it. Or you'll go through Starbucks and get that white chocolate mocha. Again, you're at 60 grams of sugar. We have to start thinking, what is on the other end of this fork and what is on the other end of this straw? So you got to stop being so busy, taking the kids to the soccer practice or running to work and all of these things, and don't carve out any time to meal plan, to meal prep. We have to do that. And we have to go back to a 4-letter word that people don't like: we're gonna have to cook. People, I tell people to cook, and they literally think I have like cursed at them. I'm like, I said cook. I did not say a bad word, ma'am. So we have to go back to that. And I'm saying use your crock pot, use your air fryer, use your Instapot, but you're gonna have to spend some time in the kitchen because our restaurant meals are wonderful, but food is only flavored 3 ways: salt, sugar, and fat. And when you're in a restaurant, it's gonna be higher in all 3.
That's right. Right.
And your portion sizes are gonna be usually 2 to 2.5 sizes bigger.
And it was really interesting to me. I was listening to Bordeaux. I don't forgot the guy that I hate to say it, but he killed himself. Right?
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah. So he said that in the restaurant that they give you an extra like they put a stick of butter in everything, and I was like.
Fat, sugar, and salt. That's why restaurant meals taste so good. You're never like, oh my God, this is never as good when I make it at home. It isn't.
It sure isn't.
It's not. It's not gonna be.
I struggle with cooking myself as a general rule. And what I have to do is I have to, my goal in life is to get a chef. Okay, that's my
goal is on your list.
I just want to have a chef who can cook healthy meals for me that taste good. Because I struggle with that. But yeah, so if you're a chef out there and you want to help me out, so you help me out, okay? Now, should people count calories? What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I do think people should log, because I think when you log things, it really does, like on my Fitness Pal, one of those little apps, it does help you know what you're eating, but you can't just count calories, because I've seen people say, I'm on a 1,500 calorie diet. I skip my breakfast and my lunch so I can eat my Big Mac and my large fries and drink my sweet tea. So if you're just counting calories, that is not what what you really need to do. You do want to make sure that you're, again, making sure you're having some of your whole grains, some of your protein, and fat needs to be in there. But if you're just counting calories, you can look up, and most of those calories can just come from that one thing, which could just be fat.
Right. That you're so true about that. Now, do you believe in juice cleansing?
I always ask people, what's the purpose? If you tell me that you're trying to have some gut rest for a couple of days because you let the holidays take you too far, that's or you had some GI issue. But if you're doing it to say that you're going to lose weight, I say eat your vegetables. Your teeth work. Eat your vegetables. Get the fiber in. You don't have to juice, because a lot of times when people say they're going on a juice cleanse, they end up pineapple juice, pear, watermelon. They find mango. They find the sweetest. They find the fruit that's the highest in sugar, and it may have one small serving of spinach in it, and the rest of it's just fruit juice. So it'll be something that you look up at the end, and it has 60 grams of sugar in it.
So now, how do you feel about pressing the juice, like you actually juicing it at home? It's the same thing, or do you think?
I think you just got to make sure that you're doing more non-starchy vegetables and not just loading up a whole bunch of juice.
Gotcha.
Because I always tell people, when it really comes down to difference between me having apple juice and apple, I'm having an apple all day long. Because you got to think about, you're getting the fiber in it, and your body is actually burning some calories to break that apple down, as opposed to the apple juice.
Gotcha.
So don't cut yourself out of those few calories.
Now, what are your thoughts on sugar?
My thoughts on sugar is that we don't know what sugar is. We really think that the only way when we hear sugar, we think that white stuff that sprinkles out of the bag. Right. We don't think about the gravy. We don't think about the sugar in our barbecue sauce. We don't think about the grits that we eat in the morning. Or we don't think about the pancakes or the pancake syrup, or again, the tea that we had earlier that day. We don't think about the bread and that we put all on top of our pork chop and chicken. You don't think about where your sugar comes from. You don't think about the macaroni and cheese. You don't think about the rice. So when you truly have a good understanding of where sugar is found, you can avoid some of these diagnoses that you get down the line. Because when somebody says I am a diabetic or I'm consuming too much sugar, the first thing they say, well, I'm gonna stop eating that sweet potato pie. And I ask them to do a food diary for me, and I can sit there and highlight, and they're having sugar from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed.
And one of the things that is, I want to explain away, because when you say sugar, these are the complex carbohydrates that break
Mm-hmm.
down in your body. And what happens is they look like sugar to your body, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't think
Mm-hmm.
they're sugar. But
Right.
when they break down, it takes insulin
Mm-hmm.
in order to process them. And so that is what Denise means, just for those of us who, because I was like, complex carbohydrates, I mean, they're good. And then someone, one day told me, because the reality of the matter is that in nursing school, I've been a nurse for 27 years, and I took a nutrition class when I first got into nursing school, and I have not taken a nutrition class since. And I
Right.
went to several different schools in order to get my degrees on up to my doctorate. And I'm not taking a nutrition class. And the reality is that I've taken pharmacology classes all along the way, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
reality is that if we use the food to heal our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
we won't need
Indeed.
pharmacology.
You will not. You
So,
will not.
I mean, at the end of the day, so so what is the best thing that you eat prior to working out, or do you eat after working out, prior to working out? How does that work for you?
I think for me personally, in general, what I normally recommend people, if we would hit that balance that I talked about with that plate, if we hit that plate at lunch, we hit that plate at dinner, we have our normal healthy balanced breakfast, and then we look up and trying to hit that in between meal snack somewhere in there, and it can be something as small as a yogurt or a cheese stick or a slice of whole grain bread with peanut butter on it, then you will be fine for your workout. You can do a small, say if you did an apple or something before your workout, you would be fine. I think sometimes the misconception of I need to be so prepared for my workout, it's like we need to make sure we understand what our workout is. In general, our workout is 30 to 45 minutes, a little bit of cardio and a little bit of strength training. Sometimes we act as if we're LeBron James and we're going to do that's not the kind of workout you're doing. You're not going to go do the Tour de France. You're not going to go ride your bicycle for 25 miles. You're not going to go run the New York City Marathon. Stop. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it, because I got to get prepared. I got to make sure I have my 60-gram protein shake. Stop. That is not what you're doing. Don't overthink it, because that's how you end up with so many products on the market that people are like, I need this and I need this and I need this.
You don't.
You're gonna go do a 45-minute workout. Look, and most of the time you're gonna walk. You're not even gonna run.
Just like this morning, I walk. I
Yes,
don't.
and that's fine.
Like literally in the morning, I don't eat anything prior to or anything right afterwards. It's just kind of not what I do, and I don't know whether that's good or not. So you tell me.
Well, I think you can have something small, but I think sometimes people are under this misconception that they have to make sure that they've had, 6 eggs and 4 egg whites, and they come up with this, Hunger Man breakfast and all of these things that they have to have. And I'm like, but that's not the kind of workout that you are doing. We do have to always make sure that you kind of look at what your lifestyle is, because that's what it goes back to. Are you out eating your exercise? What kind of lifestyle are you leading? Because again, if it's a 4-mile walk or a 3-mile walk or even a 2-mile walk,
Right.
you're going to be fine with that apple and a tablespoon of peanut butter.
Sweet, sweet. Well, it has been a pleasure having you today, Miss Denise. Miss
Well,
Denise,
thank you so much for the invitation.
she is going to start her own business, where she's going to be teaching people how to the all these things that we're talking about. She's going to be teaching you, holding you accountable, making sure that you have that energy at the end of the day, making sure that you have the accountability that you need in order to, because sometimes it's just about accountability, in order to make sure that you're able to do the things that you need to do at the end of the day. This is Mornings with Dr. V. And don't forget, we have our virtual global summit that's coming up in August the 7th, less than a month.
Yes.
Super exciting. You will receive 6.5 CEUs and have an amazing time. Don't forget to go. And follow us on Twitter at Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. And if you are watching YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And it has been a pleasure. I love you all, our healthcare providers. Y'all go crush your exceptional goals today. Have an awesome, awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.